Good evening, dear listeners, and welcome to The Dreaming Prophet. Tonight we're gathered here not just for the episode, but to commiserate what will hopefully be first in the series of unfortunate events that is our life. Rest in peace, Dance for Us, who is succeeded by her 6 siblings, her not parents, and at least 6 hosts that she lost in the fatal custody battle with the 8th god. Remember, this is why you pay your lawyers and you don't get legal advice from the measure cuts. My name is Lavanya.
I'm Astro.
And I'm xaviul.
This is a Blackout Club show for Blackout Club players with minimal speculation, all lore, and a focus on the known facts. Our topic of the day is a guide to enhanced horror.
Although this episode will have some minor spoilers, especially about the inner workings of the game, if you plan to opt into enhanced horror, we strongly recommend that you listen. Enhanced horror can be a confusing experience if you are new to the game or if you haven't heard about it before. Even if you have heard about it before, it can be pretty easy to get twisted around. And there really are no content warnings for this episode aside from the standard brief mentions of harm to children.
And tonight we have something special for you all. We have a guest.
You?
Astro says I'm a host now.
Oh.
Hey everybody, I'm Dark Crow. I'm an old man who plays games. So yeah, you can find me on the Twitch app at Dark Crow, DARK _ C ROWE. You can also check me out on Twitter at Dark Crow, that's DARK _ C ROWE _. I'm a PS4 player. Feel free to throw out an invite, friend request, any of that stuff. I'm always interested in meeting new players and hanging out. And they wanted me to give you a little bit of a fun fact, but there's almost nothing fun or factual about my life. So all I can really offer you is that I am, in fact, not a bird.
PS4 players, though, those are pretty exotic. I hear they're endangered.
So let's start with this. What is enhanced horror?
Enhanced horror is often abbreviated in the Discord and other systems as EH or EHS for Enhanced Horror System. There's a guide that was written up to accompany this episode with links and tips on how to record things, transcripts, all that jazz. It's linked in the episode description. Read it. It's great.
When you opt into advanced horror in the game, you will get this message. The Blackout Club game, in parentheses, features an enhanced horror system. If you click yes to opt in, TBC will capture your voice and breath reactions in order to offer all participating players the most immersive experience possible. Mute or push to talk will work as expected between players, but the game will continue to listen while TBC is active. Phobia warning, paranormal stimuli. If you click no, your voice will not be captured. This will prevent you from using certain online-specific features which are voice-activated, such as the ritual system. You may still use in-game voice chat between players.
This description is really vague, and some people have been worried by it, especially in an age where everything is recording us and the ethics of using that info is very shady. Here's some more detail on what enhanced horror actually is.
Enhanced horror is a functional blend of traditional tabletop gaming and alternate reality games that takes place over the course of the entire game, not in a single round. Keep in mind this only takes place in the game. It will never take place outside of it, so don't worry about that. You will not be getting messaged by Speak as One over Twitch. It encourages and often requires mass-scale information sharing. Interactions in the enhanced horror system are with one of several gods and occasionally with human NPCs. For more information on the specifics of who these characters are, check out episode 3. Listen up.
And of course, what EH is not. It is not a system like Alien Isolation, where breaths and speech from players will change how enemies react. Here is a statement from the official EH FAQ. Note, this does not mean normal enemies on patrol will hear you, but rather more supernatural elements of the game will become enabled. The gods are capable of changing the behavior of your game while they're present, but it's all controlled by the EH team. It isn't automated.
The enhanced horror system contact takes several forms. There's a player-to-team ritual system when you go to the mirror. You sacrifice your body, your XP. In game, that's all your earned XP, your powers, starting you over from level 1, allowing you to respec your character, try out new powers. In fiction, you're sacrificing time to your god. You're allowing them to take over your body as a temporary host. It's not blood. Your kid isn't dead. Think of it as, I always think of it as like a handshake. It's almost like a spiritual offering of yourself over to the god of your preference. So really make sure you're paying attention to who you're giving it to, because you can think of it as a promise, or you can think of it as a prison, depending on who you send it off to.
Characters can be remade after you sacrifice, but they don't have to be. It's not a necessary part of the lore of fiction. If you want your kid to disappear mysteriously after they sacrifice, you have that opportunity, but that's not something you have to do.
When you sacrifice, you are sacrificing your past time, what you've learned, and your memories, but also your present and future time that you spend sleeping so the gods can take you for a joyride.
For the player, there is no guaranteed benefit to sacrificing yourself. However, these sacrifices are used to strengthen the gods in the long-term game. Gods will mention your character's blackouts. So if you're loyal to the idea, don't sacrifice to SAO unless you want some backstabbing.
Another facet of the ritual system is lights of rebellion. In fiction, it's a lighter, but it symbolizes a belief. Sacrificing these allows you to send a prayer, a 30-second voice message to the god of your choice. It's worth keeping a log of the prayers you send off so you can know which ones your live encounters are referencing.
Humble rocks are another exciting facet of the ritual system. If you already have a light that you haven't sent off, opening a box that would have given you a light instead will give you a big-ass fucking rock. These can be used to stun the shape and other enemies, but they don't really have a purpose past that. It's worth keeping in mind the game does not offer up pets, familiars, or any sort of real sidekick accessory except for the humble rocks, which are heavy, thick, and dull just like xaviul's sense of humor. It'll remind you of home.
Hey, how about I introduce you to my humble rock? Intimately.
No.
And more famously, there are enhanced horror contacts that work in the opposite direction, from the enhanced horror team to the player. These are what we refer to as god encounters. The first form of this, and the one you've likely heard about, is live voice encounters. This is the quintessential you're playing and suddenly you hear a powerful voice that isn't coming from you or your friends. Sometimes these involve visits to the moon, a non-real location where gods can speak to groups of players, quote, more privately, end quote. In fiction, we think this may be a hallucination, but details are unclear.
And then, on the other hand, we have the live text. An EH team member will play as one of two voices, via dare or speak as one, and will type out messages that appear when you close your eyes. If you're having one of these encounters, a huge closing eye animation will appear on your screen to tell you to close your eyes and read whatever they're trying to say to you.
As of fall 2019, these have expanded to include text messages. These are text messages from various, let's say, mortal characters, Blackout Club HQ, and the unknown caller. They will appear as a mission text in the corner of your screen and play the same alert. If you get one of these, they'll ask you to respond. As a console player, because the limitations with typing, you are allowed to just speak it into your mic and they'll consider it text to speech. I actually found this to be one of the more unsettling aspects of the game. I got used to the eye blinking, you have the pomp and circumstances of a voice encounter, but then you have this creepy, almost you're part of the game now when you see that mission screen, the little text that's popped up 1,000 times before that you probably ignore at this point. All of a sudden your name is in a bubble. You have these unknown people talking to you. Yeah, look out for them. Don't just ignore those texts anymore because they could be containing pertinent information.
And then in the boxcar, of course, we have dreams. A dream is the prayer audio and a recorded message from a voice that's answering whatever it is that was asked. There are two different kinds. The first one is the public ones. These are the ones that everybody's more familiar with, and they help tell the story. If a dream has some important information about the gods, the plot, the storyline, it's sometimes made public so everybody can have that information. Public dreams appear to all players over time. You get them after successful missions.
Private dreams are the other type of dreams. This is a prayer response sent directly to the player who asked it. These may or may not become public later. They'll appear as a glowing sleeping bag in the boxcar. So to play the message, sleep in the sleeping bag. However, keep in mind, once you play the message, you cannot replay it. Go ahead and record it or write it down. However, whatever you do, don't do both of those at once or else you'll end up like me, with a personal dream from the measure cut that you can barely hear over the frantic sound of you typing.
We also have Godcasts. It's when you enter your game into the boxcar and all the lights will dim. The ritual room door will open. That's the room with all the sleeping bags and the mirror. And once you walk into it, you will be told to close your eyes. These are referred to by the dev team as Godcasts. They riff on a podcast. They're extended pre-recorded clips where a demon, god voice, whatever you want to call them, speaks directly to you while your eyes are closed. All players who log into the game within a set time frame will receive these messages, and you're gifted a God Rock from these encounters. Rest in peace, my beloved Trevors 1 through 4. I wasted all of you. May I never have children in real life.
We respect their sacrifice even as we mourn it.
There's nothing to respect. It was just a horrible waste of rock.
So let's talk about privacy. The developer team wants you to have fun and do so safely. There are very specific guidelines for how and when they interact with players.
So we have a quick quote off of the FAQ. The quote is, "We want to reconfirm that we are only collecting the information, to make a cool game experience, and we do not sell this data. We do not use this information for anything other than to deliver this enhanced horror experience. However, we respect that some players want to know exactly how it's being used, so that's what you will read further below. If you go to the website and you look, they will break it down point by point for you."
When there is a god in your game, they're going to announce themselves immediately. Null says generally enhanced horror will actually say something for privacy reasons. There are exceptions, people who exit the mission or die too soon, which is about half my VI Dare visits.
Tragic. And if you have EH off, the gods can't hear you and they will not address you. You might as well not even be in the room as far as they're concerned. You will still see and hear messages that go out to everyone in the game or to all the players, but you will not be directly addressed. If you want to be involved, you just have to opt in. This allows you to give explicit consent to be contacted this way. The team doesn't want to involve you if you've already said no.
Even if you have enhanced horror on, if you don't feel like speaking up in someone else's conversation, you don't need to. The team will adjust.
This sometimes just happens naturally. Speak as One will snub all of the non-SAOites in my games, and the idea will snub the fuck out of me in every other game that I've been. It's been a lot. This is a reoccurring problem.
We contacted the team to confirm this. No matter who is hosting the game, if there is a player in that game who has opted into enhanced horror, they can be contacted by an enhanced horror character. This means you won't risk missing a visit if you're in a newbie lobby or with friends that don't want to play with enhanced horror on.
And speaking of newbies, here we have a little bit of an encounter etiquette for everybody. It's just good manners. And we talked about this a little bit in episode 3, Listen Up. But again, the most important point to have is the story moving forward will never hinge on a single player. But if the EH team wants you to be involved in a certain encounter, they will reach out. They have many tools at their disposal, and they will make sure that contact happens, even if it needs to be delayed or sent via a dream instead.
The gods are each played by voice actors. These are live, real interactions with actual beings on the other end. This isn't an AI-driven program. The EH team, as far as we can tell, refers to the actors, but also to the other people who help make the EH. Text encounters, probably audio text, and probably a lot more.
The enhanced horror team prefers that the various components are not discussed publicly, especially the voice actors. This includes in-game and in public community spaces like Reddit or the Discord. This is why, respectfully, we are not naming them at this time.
Yes, one of the things that has been made clear is that players should not address a god by their out-of-game name. This is actively disliked by the EH team as it is disrespectful to the actor and to the game developers. They are being paid to perform, to stay in character, and by calling them out, you are actively preventing this.
Besides, it also can break the immersion irreparably for some players and can potentially lead to harassment of the team members. Just don't do it.
Another point of etiquette is to be mindful of the team's time. They have a lot of players to juggle, and as a result, they can't spend too long with any one player. When they need to leave, they need to leave. Let them go and say thanks if you're so inclined.
At the shortest, encounters can be only a minute or two. At the longest, they can reach up to 30 minutes.
Null says, if you play together regularly and plan group questions, you can get more time for deeper engagement because it counts as a visit for everyone. Again, not necessarily a planned dynamic, just an artifact of limited hours in the day. Be mindful of your team's time. Don't hog the spotlight. Be courteous. Share God encounters and let others ask questions. And, of course, keep in mind the game is built on using information that's shared between players.
On using information from others in the community, Null says, quote, built into the game's fundamental DNA is the idea that the internet will gossip and share, and sort of substitutes for all of the whispering the kids do in that cold train car during downtime or at school, end quote.
Different people have different wishes about how the information they archive is used. However, the team has also taken the time to address this. We'd recommend stopping short of expecting the internet to respect the in/out of character knowledge line equally. Seems like a recipe for hurt feelings.
Right now, most people are openly all right with you mentioning things they've learned in their interactions, but many prefer that you don't name drop them if you do.
To quote Null, don't take paranoid characters, as in enhanced horror characters, chiding as any indication that you're playing it wrong by sharing stuff or using what you read here in-game. If you think a little about it, it is far more likely that we're relying on the internet to gossip. We actively encourage it, than it is that we're testing their restraint. So this attitude is just to build tension. It's not to hinder sharing.
If you want to use info but aren't sure if the person is okay being name dropped, our go-to is, my friend told me, or I heard.
I used to be worried about potential consequences of being name dropped or sharing secret info, so I contacted the team and they said this, quote, no info players share will affect enhanced horror in a way that negates or blocks anything. Only abusive or toxic behavior towards other players or during an interaction can have that effect. Different voices becoming aware of a story point via a player might alter the experience in a dramatic, quote, yes and, end quote, sort of way, but players can't get each other punished in that way, end quote.
Now we're on to everyone's favorite subject, streamers.
Woo!
Streaming is part of the ecosystem of enhanced horrors, so streamers have a specific niche. Some encounters must be recorded. There have been a few notable examples of this. The execution of Dance for Us is one such case. These critical encounters are fundamental changes to the lore, the introduction of new characters or dramatic shifts in the world we knew. Streaming ensures that there will be recording. When contacting non-streamers, the enhanced horror team simply has to hope the encounter and info is shared. So don't believe that you have to stream in order to get an encounter. It probably doesn't hurt, but it isn't a guarantee.
If you're streaming or recording at all, please alert the other players in the game. Not all players wish to be recorded. It is common courtesy to let them know and give them the option to leave. If you are entering a game, also, please be sure to let people know.
God encounters have been modeled after real divine intervention. They're designed to be brief, fleeting, and in a way that makes you wonder if they really happened at all. Because of this, there are no native features to record these encounters. It's all up to us if we want to have a document of this.
Lore-changing encounters without evidence, even a few screenshots, may be doubted by the community. The nature of the game is that information has to be shared by the players. This sort of snafu, it's a known risk. On extremely rare occasions, people have lied about contacts, or they haven't told the whole truth.
For the most part, the community is keen to accept new information. If you encounter pushback, you don't need to get angry or get in a fight. Present your experiences and leave it be. Anything important will be reiterated by the enhanced horror team in another encounter, and anything glaringly false will be corrected.
With that said, a lot of people do enjoy recording their encounters in various ways, and they enjoy sharing them. Enhanced horror encounters are a fun experience, and as with many experiences, people enjoy engaging with them. So this is a quick summary of the various ways we know of how to record encounters. And thank you again to everyone who answered the survey.
Most of us, from the Discord at least, are on PC. For us, this is pretty easy if you know where to look. So, for a general tip, be careful where you put your hotkeys. Avoid assigning them close to keys that shut off your computer or close your game. So, for text encounters, one of the easiest ways that anybody without any sort of recording program can do is screenshots. For Steam, that's just the F12 button, unless you change it yourself, and you always have your print screen button or the Windows game bar.
If you want to download a program, there are two that we know of. One is Giazzo. Giazzo saves all screenshots to a URL. It's incredibly simple to set up. You just download and it's ready to play. ShareX is infinitely more customizable. You can choose where your screenshots go and what the program does with them after you take them, but it is a lot more setup as a result.
Some people enjoy, instead of screenshots, to have a video recording because it allows them to transcribe easier or just stick that shit right onto YouTube. So one of the best options for that is Op Studio. Op Studio can be a little tricky to set up. Video capture requires you to adjust the settings to capture a specific window or to capture your desktop or whatever, and it can get real finicky very quickly. If you're not familiar, just go ahead and use the wizard. It'll take a little bit, but after you've done it the first time, those settings are with you for life. Simple volume sliders are there in Op Studio so you can see how loud things are real time. Don't mute your microphone. Pay attention to them. If you don't have a beefy ass computer, it can cause some lag, but for the most part, you should be fine. Just exit out the other windows, leave TBC up, and enjoy your recording.
Another option is Streamlabs OBS, or SLOBS, apparently. This is tailored to streamers, and they have a responsive staff and a lot of frequently asked questions to help you.
Streamlabs Ops is based off of the same base code as Ops Studio, so it's pretty similar. It's just more geared towards streamers. So if you like streaming, maybe check that out.
Then we also have XSplit, which is a more user-friendly OBS with a game-specific version aimed towards streamers.
Place TV is yet another version that you can look into. It markets itself as low maintenance and lightweight, and it's made for more hardcore games, so system-intensive ones, the ones that make your computer cry. It has a bookmarking feature to help you find specific moments in your recording, and like with Streamlabs, it's geared towards streaming. So check it out if that's your sort of thing.
And on the other hand, instead of just recorders, we have pre-recorders. We've got 2 recommended programs that pre-record to a certain amount of time. So you hit the go button and they'll already have the start of your encounter recorded. First off, we have GeForce Experience's Shadowplay. This requires some setup, and Shadowplay only can capture TBC on desktop computers, but it pre-records and works pretty well from what we've heard from others.
The other option is MSI Afterburner. This program is made to overclock your graphics card, but it has a pre-recording feature that, unlike Shadowplay, can work with laptops. It's very in-depth and it has an overlay.
Now we're on to console recording, which is primarily held together with duct tape and wishes. It's significantly easier because everything's built in. For the Xbox One, press the Xbox button to open up the guide, press X to grab a video clip, or press View, capture what happened, and choose your amount of time, or select Record from Now. Clips can be up to 10 minutes on an internal storage and an hour if you have an external. PlayStation 4 is as easy as just pressing the share button twice, which I didn't know until right now.
Oh no! Well, now you know. It's just that easy.
We've learned. Recordings by default will have up to 15 minutes of gameplay. If you miss the last 15 minutes but want to recover them, hold down the share button, select Save Video Clip, and you're set. There is a little bit of setup you want to do to it. Go into your settings menu, look for sharing and broadcasting, and you can adjust the time of your clips from as little as 30 seconds to an hour. Once your recording is complete, you can go into the capture gallery and you can either trim it by hitting the options button on the video you want to trim, and you can go through by second or by minute to find the exact moment you want. You can also take screenshots in this mode, or you can send it over to Share Factory, which is a free app on the PlayStation. You can add fades, music, slow things down. It gives you a little bit more control. You can upload directly from just hitting the share button and choosing your platform of choice.
So, you've got your recordings. You want to share it to everybody. One of the easiest ways to do that is by transcribing your interaction. Transcripts are one of the easiest ways to make info accessible, because sometimes audio in a video recording can be unclear, sometimes some of the video is damaged, and sometimes people would rather just have it in an easy-to-read format rather than sitting through a half an hour of your recording to get all the information.
They're more easily searchable, so they're more useful for lore discussions in the Discord, and a good option for those who didn't know how to record. If you remember well enough to transcribe or paraphrase, you've got this. I'm incredibly lazy, though. I don't do this. I'm potentially a monster.
Stay tuned to listen to our trial on Dark Crow for war crimes.
Give context at the beginning of your document to explain what happened just before. For example, if you were having a relevant conversation when the god barged in, or if you had recently sent a prayer about a specific topic. This will help people follow your encounter.
If you're transcribing a text encounter, either text messages or a God Eye, some players will add screen caps of the messages they received along with their transcript.
It is usually a good idea to transcribe the text in these images too.
It's generally a good idea, but not all of us do that. Unfortunately, we are all war criminals in this chat room today.
The fact of the matter is, images aren't searchable. Also, sometimes the text in images is hard to read, like if you're reading on mobile.
Although it's fun to play with colors and fonts, please remember that your document needs to be legible. Bright, highly saturated red on black or on white is an eyesore at best. A more muted red, either darker or lighter, is easier to read. Likewise, some fonts are a little too fancy for normal use. Please be mindful of the readability of your transcripts.
All right, you've got your recordings, you've got your transcripts. Now what do you do with them? Well, thankfully, we have the interaction archives. The first archival efforts were player-led. In the beginning, transcripts and videos were just posted in Spoilers and Speculations, the channel on the Discord. But as the community grew, these links got lost pretty quickly, and some players wanted a way to collect all the information we had gotten so far. TVP alumni Spoderman went back through the Spoilers and Speculations channel and collected every publicly posted transcript and video. After that, for a time, he manually maintained it, adding the links he was given. You can find that document at tinyurl.com/tbctranscripts.
This was a huge success and a huge help, so eventually an official archive was created. It operates off a Google form and posts automated messages to the Discord when something new is added. For this reason, it's now more helpful than ever to join the Discord. Although it is not required to add your transcripts/videos to the archive, it is heavily encouraged. As a community, we collect more information by sharing what we have. Think of it as whispers on the playground or secrets shared at a sleepover. The lore is alive, and it needs us to thrive. It's a mysterious, beautiful, savage garden, lush with color and variety, but we are the bees, spreading its pollen further out so its beauty can be shared and allowed to grow.
Be a bumblebee, not an African killer bee.
Oh my god. So, what does it mean to allow your transcript to be used on the wiki?
The official archive now offers a yes/no option that asks, can this interaction be added to the DBC wiki? You don't have to say yes. But again, because of the way that the game works, it is heavily encouraged that you say yes.
Because of the way the Blackout Club and the enhanced horror system works, most of the story comes out in enhanced horror encounters. Those encounters can't be replicated, and if they aren't shared, it's possible no one else will know that info. This makes wiki maintenance extremely difficult.
And wikis traditionally are one of the main ways that people are able to engage with and learn information in fandoms. So after some time, the wiki admins decided to allow transcripts to be used on the wiki. If you allow your encounter to be used in this way, it will be copied over to a page on the wiki, and the information in it can then be indexed and used as a source on the various wiki pages. So if you drop some vital information about the idea, if you're allowing your transcript to be used on the wiki, it can be sourced the same as it would be, say, on any actual Wikipedia article, and then linked back to your transcript. It makes things a lot more efficient and makes sure a lot more people are going to read your transcript. If you say no, the wiki leadership will respect your decision and they will leave that encounter where it is. But it is very helpful to let them use it. Helpful to you, helpful to the entire community.
One last point on the interaction archive. When submitting your interaction to the archive, you will be prompted to write a summary. This summary appears in the Google Sheet and in the channel announcing a new interaction.
A good summary includes major topics discussed. Those topics might be plots or other characters.
This makes the archive more searchable. If someone wanted to know what the Adair thought about inner teeth, they could search inner teeth in the summary column and try to find it.
Teaser summaries, for example, X pays a surprise visit, offer none of this information, and make the transcript harder to find and use.
The players present at the encounter are mostly inconsequential, but might be good to mention. However, you want to keep this summary short as well. This will mean that it won't bloat the archive sheet or the automated message.
Now, keep in mind, this is a community based on sharing information, but not everyone is always prepped to have documented it when it is occurring. Even if what a new player or an old player is saying seems unbelievable, or like it doesn't fit into what we traditionally know of enhanced horror encounters, let them say it. There's no harm to information coming out, and if it's not true, it will be disproven. If we are being led astray, the EH team will guide us in the right direction.
Because remember, you should always trust the enhanced horror team. We're here to enjoy the story, but we have to remember that they're invested in telling it, and everything that we experience is geared towards ensuring that it can be told.
New players are the lifeblood of any game, and if we want to see the Blackout Club succeed, we must make a welcoming environment for them. So be nice to the newbies.
Enhanced horror should be thought of as a haunted house or a live theater performance or that Hamilton ticket that you got on discount. Even if you don't have Frankenstein jumping out at you to give you his personal backstory and a knife to the face, you should still enjoy the ambience and the fact that someone else out there is still getting shanked.
Is that what happens in
Yeah, that's
haunted
exactly what
houses?
happens.
That is exactly what happens in haunted houses.
They
You pay
just-
for this
They just
privilege.
stab your kidneys. Yep.
I can't believe you guys pay for this experience.
Have been to a haunted house, have been shanked.
The real horror is the medical bills afterwards. Woo!
Ooh.
You're now bankrupt.
People record and share their enhanced horror actions for you to read along with them and share in the experience. Like when Dance for Us had her unfortunate end, I was streaming that night and I heard about it live on stream. And 2 days prior, I'd sent a very strongly worded message to the hunter. So I spent the entirety of my night paranoid that the hunter was going to come in because he was out and he was going to destroy me. So other people's experiences can actually enliven your own. Being a part of this community and really investing yourself in other people's stories helps grow your own. And remember, as Null has put it before, the ideal for this game is an open, mutual victory experience.
If you'd like to find more info on enhanced horror tips and tricks, Lavanya has written a guide on behalf of the Dreaming Prophet. It's very thorough, although we've tried to preserve the spirit of the game mode and kept it as spoiler-free as we can. You can find that at tinyurl.com/tdp-ehs. Lavanya has also been doing breaking news newsletters on our Twitter. They summarize the lore from the past week and usually post it on Monday. You can find that on our Twitter at TheDreamingPC. Cal, Archer's Volley and Skigulium, has made a lore master doc. If you want to see the info the community has compiled so far, go ahead and check that out. They're trying to source as much info as possible with transcripts and videos. It's a wonderful project and a huge help. And remember, there is an official interaction archive on the Discord. This archives both God Talks and personal dreams and picks up where Spoderman's archive left off. If you have transcripts or videos, please add them to the archive. There is an option to allow your encounter to be used to support the wiki, which is heavily encouraged. As a community, we want to create resources that will help everyone navigate the game and the metagame. You can join the Discord to get involved at discord.gg/theblackoutclub. The Blackout Club is made by Question Games. Our transcript and video is by Lavanya. Audio editing is by me, Astro. Our guest today was Dark Crow. Xaviul only shows up under a black light.